I'm a professional mixed martial arts fighter. And right now, what I'm about to do is issue a warning out to all other competitors.
I don't want overs. I just expect them to happen.
Fatty's gonna fatty is real.
Oh, give me fucking truth, baby. Come on. Let's go.
How have I been this successful in life?
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It's the MMA analysis. It's a celebration, bitches. Unitary consensus cashed last week, but that doesn't even matter.
Oh,
When it's Do Bronx doing the damn thing, incredible stuff. And Sean, I'm in a good mood this week. We're all in a good mood this week, I think. Hard not to be when the man does his thing.
It was beautiful, man. It was also really awesome to see that the fans were hyped to see him, man. Like this, he's finally not going unnoticed as just some random Brazilian that's a killer. But
They are at the betting window.
They are finally cluing in, and yeah, unreal. Love that dude. Did the work, and yeah, it was just really good to see the crowd backing him. The views on his fight were very nice, especially compared to the main event. I mean, Benny can deny it all he wants. That was the main event.
Yeah, that's not even a question. The man's a star, and he should be. He's paid his dues. He puts on exciting fights, and there's nobody in MMA that anyone should rather see than Do Bronx. Wesley?
There might be one or
Gaethje.
Gaethje,
man.
about it, but I mean, look what we got when you put those two together. My God.
Yeah, it's different with Do Bronx though, because with Gaethje, you know it's going to be like a striking war.
Yes,
but like,
No Bronx.
if somebody
just pure high level,
everything,
everything. It was cool to see like the reaction up in Canada to Charlie. Like that was cool. Luckily nobody fell out of the stands on top of him or anything. You know what I'm saying?
Close.
Like Brad said the other night, just an all-time "this is MMA" moment. Just like our boy Derek Rickety Shaq would say, just MMA things. Drunk Canadians falling out of the stands about falling,
and almost taking out their most prized possession. Which
before Do Bronx, shout out to Canada actually winning some fights on a fight card. I don't know the last time they swept a fight card. It might be a decade ago or something.
With how bad they've been, I guess they're due, but now they are due for a nice little Canadian run here.
What's the flip side of that coin is all these Canadians that won are just not very good. They were set up pretty good on that.
Turns out they were.
Mike Malott is a future champ. Haven't you heard?
I mean, you beat Fugget. You're you're right there.
We definitely got the hype on the timeline, like like usual, and the seeds are planted. Man, Charlie's fucking amazing, dude. Like, look, at this point, most finishes in UFC history. I don't think that's a record that can be like. I don't see enough people even like. Something people talk about it, but that is incredible. That is fucking incredible. That man's got is it 20 now? I think it's 20 or 21.
He's got 20, and he has 22 wins, and he has 20 finishes. The dude is 145 and 155 pounds for his career, and he has 20 finishes and 22 wins.
Yeah, sub record, and a lot of Charlie's subs were fucking clocked a dude and just jumped on a sub. So And then we saw
it's just recently that he's just like, fuck it, it's not really worth it. Let's just pound him out, punch him a couple more times. That's the only thing that's changed recently.
We saw it again. We saw it again Saturday night. Just the evolution of the dude. I mean, I felt like he kind of pulled guard almost on Dariush, fucked around on his back a little bit, landing just massive elbows on Dariush off of his back. Dariush started getting a little bit off, and Charlie was literally like, you know what? Fuck this. Stood up, immediately got up. Could have done it anytime he wanted, and commenced to beating the shit out of fucking Dariush. Just another unbelievable performance. This dude's he's getting up there, man, as all-time great status, like straight up. Most finished in UFC history. Dude has been a champion now. His run, the MakNCheese loss in there. His run, I think they said he's beaten everybody in the top 5 now outside of MakNCheese in his last 4 or 5 fights. That is a run that's probably only topped by John Jones's championship run. Like, I don't know what else you could do to like go above that, but in that division, literally like consensusly thought of as the deepest and most talented division in UFC history. That man has beaten all the top guys except one, and we'll talk about that later. But I don't see how you can't. We will. He's going to be a dog again against MakNCheese. Probably a big dog.
I mean, BetOnline opened it. People were smart and they obviously whacked it.
Oh,
down,
did they? I didn't see the opener.
It's 3 something, and it's down to like 250 now.
Was it plus 330 or something? Was it minus 400 plus 330, something like that?
I thought I saw 315, but it might have been 330.
Okay. Yeah,
I might have
taken
a look after it already moved.
That's mad. I think it's pretty obvious at this point that I don't know if it was physical, but there was something that was off with Do Bronx that night in that fight. Like, and I don't want to take nothing from MakNCheese. Like, he's great. He put on a great performance and he beat Charlie, but that wasn't the same guy. I don't think 400 is nuts. That's crazy. Even Saturday night, how do we continue to get this man as a dog and his inside the distance price be 2-1 against all these guys?
We said it last
so
week.
Like, they do, like, he is starting to get the pop and people like him and shit. Not at the betting window, not at the fucking betting window, because it's still the same. The disrespect. Had people seen Dariush's chin in the past and how Charlie cracks nowadays?
That's why we went inside instead of sub on that one.
Yeah.
But MakNCheese, it's a tough fight for him, but I feel like a lot of people are kind of misremembering the first fight. They're like, oh, it was complete domination by MakNCheese. He took him down, and he couldn't do anything on the ground in the first round. And then ended up rocking Do Bronx and subbing him very quickly after that. And Do Bronx did not pull the trigger 1 second in that fight at all. If the version of him that showed up against Benny shows up against MakNCheese, that he's not necessarily going to win that fight. I'm not saying he wins it 100% of the time, but if you're giving me plus 300 on Do Bronx in that fight, I'm taking it all day, taking it walking away.
This is gonna be like, I know we talk about it a bit. It kind of pops up when guys just have an off night, and it's hard to know exactly all the times the guys have like not even been close to what they should fight like. This is we're gonna get a good idea of, was the first one a fluke or not, and you don't always you rarely get those answers, just because rematches don't happen. I mean, they've been happening a lot recently, but for the most part, they don't really happen too often, especially if it isn't like a super high level fight. So yeah, I think we're gonna find out, and let's hope it's gonna be a different story.
I think
I'm struggling to find it right now, but it was on BetOnline. If you go check out BetOnline, they've got the futures price up there. I don't see it on Best Fight Odds right now because
Of course you don't.
Oh, that's because they don't have Bet Online anymore because that site's gone.
You got to go to Fight Odds now. Best Fight
I
Odds
don't know
is
how to
shocked.
find like the futures stuff.
Yeah, that's the only issue with Fight Odds. I don't.
They, I think if you just scroll down, they have all of the UFC events right underneath.
I know,
the
but
UFC.
I don't think they.
You can go.
I mean, they obviously haven't announced that fight, right? So there's not a specific.
Yeah, they just put the fight cards under more events. I'm sure it's under one of those, which kind of sucks to look.
Too old for that shit, Wes. Too old for that shit.
I was gonna say with that first fight too. I think there's other surrounding circumstances too, to where like Charlie becoming champion and all that came with that, and the weight lifted and stuff, having to defend that belt. And man, they went over to Abu Dhabi to where like that shit is like a second home for the Dagestanis and the Russians and shit and stuff like that, man. Like those people live over there half the time now. So there were so many things going on in that fight.
But he's gonna have to do it again because I'm pretty sure the rematch is gonna be in the same place.
Do it in Brazil this time.
Nah,
I would bet that he's out there.
MakNCheese couldn't draw a fucking stick figure. All right, this dude. Nobody cares about this dude. Make him come to Do Bronx house this time. If he beats him in Brazil, he beats him in Sao Paulo, then he's the real champ. But right now, minus 350 plus 285 at Bet Online for that fight.
I'm sure there's no props out yet. I would like to see.
No, they don't. They don't do. They didn't do props for last week's card until on Tuesday.
Do we have props for? Yeah, we do have props.
We have props. Yeah. But they definitely ain't putting out, even for bigger fights, they ain't really putting out props too.
That line is insane. I don't care if you even think MakNCheese is gonna win again. Like that's dumb. Like, y'all watching the fights? Hey, have y'all seen MakNCheese fight? Besides the Do Bronx fight, like this dude's in like close fights against guys and shit, and you're not gonna take the plus 300 against a dude that actually can finish in multiple ways. Like,
yeah,
yep.
Don't learn. Do not learn, please.
Hey,
just
that's fine.
Keep doing what you're doing.
Even as a guy who's still down, like, I don't know, 25 units or something this year, there's always an edge. Never stop firing.
I told Sean, like, I shoved in a big chunk of stack on Charlie and some Ige Nunez, and it just my track shit was still just like up a little bit. It's just how bad it's been.
I was at the MGM in Detroit, which is a decent spot. But I didn't want to deal with the shitty MGM lines, so I was just tossing. I don't even have a lot of money in my Bet Online account, but I was just like $50 and just parlayed all the stuff on the main cards and ended up returning like $250 on it. It was not bad.
And you didn't get shot coming out of Detroit, like winning fucking night, bro.
Right. At that point, I was pressing my luck. I was gonna go find the shadiest neighborhood I could, park the RV there because we were down there because my wife went to Taylor Swift concert. So I dropped her off there, went to the sports book, and just hung out and actually watched the entire UFC card for probably the first time this year. But yeah, it's not a bad little spot. Downtown Detroit's actually quite nice.
Mm.
Anyway, there were other fights on the card.
Was there?
No. Actually, I didn't watch the whole card because the concert was over just before the Do Bronx fight. So we stayed and watched the Do Bronx fight and then left after it. And
so you did watch the whole card.
Scrolling on the phone, being like, "Oh, Irene Aldana's not doing anything? Huh, interesting.
Sounds about right."
I'm shocked by this. Wow. The chick that was losing to Macy Jason is losing to Amanda Nunes? Huh. Who knew?
Yeah, hindsight, like getting Nunes in her last fight, if that's it, at like minus 300 against Aldana is madness. Fucking madness.
LR, I've got no shame. If I was dancing at the concert, I would have been posting it on Twitter. You would have seen it. Nothing wrong with a little Taylor Swift, all right? But
not at those ticket prices. God damn.
Yeah, you better
we got
be
lucky.
moving.
My wife found a connection through work to somebody that had like family and friends tickets. So
Damn.
She got a good seat at a great price.
The OBC was saying that his boy bought some and was reselling them for like $3,300.
Yep, there was a lot of that going on, but these ones were in the triple digits. Didn't get up to the 4 digits, so that's good. We'll go through the rest of the card real quick. Diana Belbita, the Breakfast Biscuits, takes unanimous decision over Maria Oliveira. That fight happened. Not encouraging me to watch any more opening bouts on a card for the rest of the year. The Egg Dude got it done over David Dvorak. Rather impressive debut from him. Kyle Nelson over Blake Builder. These were all decisions, just not the egg fight was pretty good. The rest of it's not tremendous. Were those the Fight Pass ones? And then we moved up to...
No, but you can keep going. You can just do the whole preliminary card.
Ayman Zahabi. The man's incredible. He's like number 6 Canada pound for pound now. 4-2 in the UFC. Wipes out Arichi Lang in a minute 4. Whew. And Canada keeps rolling. Jazdavicius takes out Miranda Maverick, which is impossible because we've been told many times that Miranda Maverick, future champ. People are supposed to fear her.
No shockwave.
The hype that happens with these fighters so quickly is crazy. And then Imavov beating up on Chris Curtis, and then a little headbutt causes a big cut, and fight got stopped to a no contest. Sean, any thoughts on the prelims?
Zahabi just... I don't know. This dude was not good, and all of a sudden now he's beating shitty fighters, to be fair. But he is doing all right against him. It's a bit surprising. I'm not betting Chris Curtis anymore until he takes a big step down in competition, because I feel like we've been getting a little lucky if you've been backing him in the last couple, because he's been losing a lot of the percentage of these fights, even if he has pulled out some wins, and your luck can only go so far when doing that. So Imavov was definitely the right side on that one.
It's fair.
Dvorak, I just don't know. I think that dude shit the bed a whole lot more than the old Eggman showed up. Like, I don't know. Props to the Eggman. He won't have to steal any more handbags. You can change that topology picture maybe, but
hey, you don't have to. Sometimes that's just the life you live.
Hey,
right?
I mean, sometimes that's all the training you need. Blake Builder is horrible. Look, Zahabi's beating the guys put in front of him and doing it kind of impressively. Now, maybe the kid is getting better. Like, who knows?
Zahabi has that like Tyson Pedro level management where he's getting like Harry Hunsucker on a pay-per-view card and stuff. Faraz is protecting little bro. He's doing a great job there.
Faraz has got some good connections. I would assume around the company.
He's doing some tape study to find these guys for his brother to fight and
they're not going to Faraz with matches. Faraz is going to them with suggestions of like, here's who Eamon's gonna fight next.
Yeah, I mean, he's getting the right ones here. I'm not gonna talk about Canada pound for pound number 7. Imavov, man, and the Curtis fight. Like, I was fucking so right on that fight. And it sucks to see it in that way, but I think Sean's like completely right. Like you was getting really lucky with Curtis. Like people forget Curtis is the guy that retired fucking twice just a few years ago and shit. He got a little better. Like don't get me wrong, he got a little better. He's still a durable guy and stuff. You always got that out of him, but I mean, we forget some of his early first UFC fights. He was getting trucked and caught fucking our boy, knocked him the fuck out. Was getting worked over by him and shit. So like. I think we've seen now, like Curtis is who he is and stuff, but man, Imavov got down to like minus 150, bro, and I fucking laid one on him. I really liked him in that fight. I think that guy's pretty good. Like I think he got a little bit overhyped early. His step of competition is going down a little bit now. Curtis was a decent name at this point, but I think that guy's pretty good, man. His hands looked really fucking good, and we know about his grappling, but his hands look good against Curtis. And Curtis might not be great, but he got decent boxing. And man, Imavov was working him over on the feet, looking really good. So, dude might actually be okay.
It's tough to look good against Chris Curtis, because he's got good takedown defense, he's got good defense,
got him down too
a lot to the body.
I think that was
kind of a weird. That was the first time he got taken down. That was kind of a weird takedown.
Yeah.
It looked like they got tangled up a little bit, but I mean that's kind of what wrestling is. So can't hold too much against him. But Imavov looked good in there, and I was a staunch Imavov hater saying that. So main cards, the Canadian steamroller just keeps on coming, baby. Marc-Andre Barriou gets rid of Eric Anders. I think this means that U Sports football is better than NCAA football, proven once and for all. So no debate there. Dan Ige, unanimous decision over Nate Landwehr. That was it was weird because it wasn't really a competitive fight, but Landwehr was in the fight the whole time and trying real hard.
He's just dumb and tough.
He's dumb as tough, and Ige is definitely not gonna get a guy that is that durable out of there.
No,
I mean he got as close as humanly possible.
He got close
to getting that man out of there.
It's fair.
Yep. And Mike Malott subs Adam Fuggett in the second round. Apparently now he's got tremendous cardio because he went 6 minutes in a fight and didn't completely gas out. So the people are fully on board the Mike Malott train. It's a thing to behold. Canada pound for pound number one, Sean?
Probably.
They're pushing him like he's number one. He did a lot of media. He did a lot of media fight week. And
shout out to our boy Aaron Bronister. I think he's on the train too. I think he's already on the hype train.
He contractually has to be.
Yeah.
So I'll give him a good pass there.
Yeah, I mean he's got some skills, but I don't see it. But I don't know if they match him correctly. We might lose some money fading him, but there's definitely some guys that are gonna test that cardio, and then we're gonna actually find out what the deal is. Man, Anders' cardio showed up. I kind of thought Barriou would be able, if he survived, he could start rolling downhill and get a late finish, but I think those nut shots kind of helped the cardio, maybe could give him a break a couple times in those rounds. But yeah, I wanted that one to go under, and it was just not gonna
happen. Not happening.
I mean, I was fucking pissed. I lost on that fight inside. Pissed after that first round. Like those dudes went. How did Anders not die in the first round? Like, I mean, they were just slinging. Anders taking everything, like getting hit flush, landing on Barriou flush. We know Barriou's got a pretty good chin and shit, but I don't know how Anders went 15 minutes fighting a fight like that. I have no fucking idea.
Sometimes once the brain's already turned to applesauce, there's nothing
we see it.
West.
Yeah, we see it. They literally change overnight. You can't knock them out anymore once they get so fucking applesauce brain. Ige Landwehr, though, dude, you want to talk about levels to a fight and levels to a guy. Insane line on Ige there. I know it's hindsight, but goddamn, like if you couldn't see that wasn't two levels of a fighter. And I'll echo everything about Malott. There's a lot of big 170 guys that love to wrestle and beat the shit out of dudes on the ground. Like, we're gonna get some money on this guy. Might lose if he gets the old little Zahabi fucking push. We might lose a couple on Malott, but there's just too many big, strong 170 guys that they're gonna take that guy down and fuck him up.
I was just thinking about like some random 170 guys. Like, isn't that Michael Morales dude? Isn't he 170?
I think so. Yeah.
Like,
I mean,
you put those two next to
or is
each
he
other,
150?
They'd look about 2 weight classes apart.
Yeah, I think Malott does look like skinny and shit for what I think.
He used to fight at 145.
Did he for real? I thought it was 155.
No, he used to fight at one. He fought Hakeem Dawodu. That's lost to him.
That man's in trouble. I don't. We get that same shit fight night, man. Main co-main. That's the next dude gonna be fighting for a title in a couple years. Rosales Jr.
If they do another Canadian card this year, which I don't know that they are, then he'll get like another good matchup high up on the card, and the one after that would be probably the time to fade him. So,
yep.
But have to get one more good matchup in, because if there's a fight card in the States, like, they don't care about giving Mike Malott a good matchup. He'll just fight whoever the next guy is. Anyway, we already talked about the main event. Post-lim, do we need to talk about the post? Like, I guess, Wes probably wants to talk about Nunes retiring and all that shit. As I said, didn't watch the fight. Hopefully they can cancel the division now. I'll have to look at the predictions to see if if anybody said vacant for bantamweight.
I mean, 45 is definitely getting canceled, so we're definitely going to hit on that shit.
But they didn't cancel 45 already?
Not yet. Now they have.
Yeah, I mean, probably should cancel it all, but hey, give Nunes at least a little props. At least she will go down as the greatest women's fighter ever. I mean, I guess the only small argument you could have is Cyborg, but she got Cyborg. You know what I'm saying? I would always like to see that fight again, though. If that can be made somewhere, I would be interested in seeing that fight. I think Cyborg's literally the only chick out there that's got that. See, I think Nunes is like power has gotten overrated and shit at the end of her career. Like, look at all these decisions she started going to and shit. Cyborg is still that chick that could land something and get her out of there. I don't think there's anybody else. I mean, props to her. Like, I think I tweeted that night. We were there. Like, she wasn't like that good. Like, she had she was losing in the UFC. Like, she was on Invicta cards looking like shit. And choke fucking Sarah McMahon dead in Nashville as a big dog. As like a plus 250 dog. I think we all bet it. And from there, that was the run. And it was an insane run. Like props to her, man. She was dead in chicks. It's actually fun to watch, but it ended pretty quick. Like, all these decisions at the end of her career.
Ended with a whimper.
Yep.
Yeah. So only one of us picked that there'd be no bantamweight champion at the end of the year. So I hope it takes them a long time to book a fight. Because
is that just you?
Yeah, that was just me.
Who's there? Who's there to fight for that belt? Like, who was the
you're not ready for Juliana Pena versus Raquel Pennington for the strap?
What it is, ain't it? It's
Raquel.
Or oh my god.
We might get how about a Juliana Pena versus Holly Holm fucking main event title.
I mean, you could stop at Juliana Pena. Like, nobody wants to see her fight ever again. I don't want to see Holly Holm fight ever again. Raquel Pennington might be the most boring fighter in the fucking UFC. That's bad, bro.
It's death. It's death.
How do they keep this shit going? And this shit's gonna get thrown on like a pay-per-view main card. Like Holly Holm gets main events and shit.
If the title fight is gonna be a
main event,
it won't get him. I don't. That's the one thing I think now that we don't have a dominant champion at 35.
It's gonna save us. Yeah,
it's gonna. Wow. It's not. I mean, it's not gonna truly save us, but we'll be getting co-main events for that title instead of main events.
Has there ever been a title fight on a prelim card?
Only on
PFL
direction. Or some shit like
that. I know some of the regional stuff, like old WEC cards used to have a regional title that was on the prelim card and like crazy stuff like that. That was good, better times. Anyway, that was UFC 289. It was fun to watch for the most part. And we're moving on this week to another card. I think they're back at the old Apex, and the card
this
certainly looks like it.
This is what I get for Father's Day. This is how they reward me.
Yeah, exactly.
Jared Cannonier and fucking Marvin Vettori staring at each other for 25 minutes.
Let's hope so.
At least, like, Vettori's probably going to talk shit for 25 minutes. I don't know.
Yeah, he'll make.
And Cannonier's going to be spouting some weird shit about crystals. So
yeah, Vettori's going full Stallone and fucking dumb faces. And yeah.
Yeah, but we are going to start it off in the light heavyweight division. The old modest Bukaki taking on Zach Pauga.
The modest Bukaki, I think, is the right side here. He had some tough matchups in his first run in the UFC, and then obviously the horrific knee injury. Did what he needed to do to get back to the UFC. Beat Tyson Pedro. Tyson Pedro finally didn't get matched up perfectly, and actually had to fight somebody with a pulse that was, only 29 years old. And the Bukaki did what he needed to. Pauga is not good. Congrats on your win against the Beverly Hills Ninja. It's a feather in anybody's cap, but the Bukaki is going to be too much.
Wesley?
Yeah, I like the Bukaki quite a bit here in this fight. Not in general, but yeah.
Check that search history, folks.
Puga's kind of terrible, man. Like, I know
Puga,
it was up at heavyweight, but he got knocked out by the shitty fucking Usman brother. He just, I don't know. The guy's only been training MMA for like a few years. He was like a cop. That's another thing you should bet against. Like, always bet against fucking police. I like the Bukaki here. I think he can keep a little distance and land combos. I think there's going to be some leg kicking from the old Bukaki here. Pauga just likes to throw one shot at a time, big punches, hoping to catch one. I think though modest Bukaki is a way better fighter than that to get caught by just one punch haymaker. So I like him as a parlay piece here quite a bit.
Yeah, Pauga is that's if you get knocked out by Usman and you can't finish the Beverly Hills Ninja, that's not good. And the Bukaki man isn't anything special, anything to write home about, but he'll keep a decent pace across 15 minutes. He knows how to strike a little bit. He can move around. I think there's going to be a very significant speed advantage in this fight for him. And he's going to be way better at range. And I don't think Pauga has any wrestling or grappling to speak of to kind of switch the game up. So we're gonna go with the modest Bukaki for a modest win at a pretty modest price. It's all coming together. It's all coming up Bukaki. What's up next? Bantamweight division. Hani Lawrence taking on Daniel Argueta. Couple decent performances from Argueta coming into the UFC, especially the short notice one against Damon Jackson. Made a good account of himself there. And Ronnie Lawrence, the hype seems to have quieted down a little bit. Sean?
Is he like Mackenzie Dern? Did he go like nationality change Brazilian? Hani Lawrence now.
That's the Brad special right there. I think Lawrence is the better wrestler here. I mean, unless he's going up against the elite of the elite, like Kakramanov. I think he's got a good grappling game. This is in the Apex, so it's going to be smaller. I don't know. It's tough to lay minus 200 on a guy that hasn't shown that much other than the wrestling in the UFC so far, and Argueta seems to have a bit of wrestling himself. So, if for some reason Ronnie Lawrence is struggling to get the takedowns after a round or so, then it could get scary. So, I'll pick Ronnie Lawrence to get a decision win, but I don't think I want to bet him at minus 200.
Wesley?
Yeah, I do think Ronnie Lawrence is the better wrestler here. I just think Argueta, he's going to get takedowns on him, but I'm not sure he can hold him there for 2 rounds and control him enough to absolutely win 2 rounds of this fight. And on the feet, I think Argueta is just a little bit better than Ronnie Lawrence when it comes to boxing. Man, this is a really close fight to me. I think it goes 15. There's no way I can lay minus 200 on Ronnie Lawrence. I'm trying to talk myself out of betting Argueta here because I know it's going to be a really close kind of wrestle hunt by Lawrence. And can he get up? Is he not going to be held down? You hate to bet those kind of spots. Argueta by decision is like plus 240. Maybe that's a little better when it opens up widely in all the legal shops and shit. If that price gets up to maybe around plus 275 somewhere, something like that, that's probably something I'm going to have to take a small shot on. Pick's going to be Argueta for me. I'm not sure Lawrence can hold him down for 10, 15 minutes. Close fight though, really close fight.
Yeah, these guys their fights always seem to end up on the ground, and it's very one-way traffic. Like Lawrence was on top of Mana Martinez and Vince Cachero and dude that he fought on Contender Series for most of those fights, and then Kakramanov was on him for most of that fight. And then the opposite for Argueta. Damon Jackson controlled him for the majority of that fight, and then he controlled the majority of his last fight against Aguirre. So, I mean, it's going to come down to who the better wrestler is here. I don't think either of these guys is particularly good at scrambling or getting up from the bottom. I just think that Lawrence is going to be a little bit better at continually getting takedowns because we've seen that from him a bunch of times already. So Ronnie Lawrence decision, not feeling great about it to make a bet out of it. Women's flyweight division, Gabriela Fernandes taking on Teresa Bledá. She did a body kick that turned into a head kick, I think. Oh no, she was the one that got
kicked.
She was the one that got body kicked, but then she ducked down to it and it turned into a head kick. That's
the Silva chick has turned out to be an okay striker though. Like she's fucked up another chick since then. So
yep.
Still, you're getting
quickly. She did that.
You're getting spin kick knocked out.
Vicky Cristina Leonardo, right? Yeah, that happened recently. Sean, anyway.
Not much here. I think Bledé's aside, but good luck to anybody who is laying minus 250 on low-level women's fights.
Yes. Wes.
Same.
Don't know. Pass. Don't worry, that's not going to be the only pass of the night, folks. Men's flyweight division. Felipe Buns in the Oven taking on the dude ZZ Bottom.
This man
got legs. He knows how to use them.
Is he wearing a Brazilian do-rag?
Is that Tapology?
Is that a Brazilian do-rag? Gotta be, right? Is that what?
It looks like it's supposed to be it's like a combination between like a gaucho hat and like I don't know, some like ancient war cap or something like that. I have no idea.
We're making fun of people's heritage. Nice.
That man has got.
No, I said it was a combination between two heritages.
That man's got waves. That's a fucking Brazilian do-rag, son. Straight up.
He's hard. He's from the streets.
From the favelas, baby.
Yeah. Natal Rio Grande do Norte.
If he walks out with that,
riverbanks, man, and
he walks out with that, and our boy ZZ Top walks out with that fucking Patty Pimlet, like all hell's breaking loose.
Have we seen any videos of him this week? Does he still?
We haven't.
He tweeted out the photo. I think he's
is he still rocking?
I don't know 100%. Like I doubt he would tweet another photo of himself from last time. I don't know. I haven't seen any live video. I haven't been scouring.
Now I'm pumped for the return of Pali Pimagulov. That's my dude.
That's pretty good.
Let's get it. Sean, what do you got here?
Zhumagulov is a decent fighter. He's had a tough run. I think it's always going to be concerning backing a guy that retired, then didn't, came back. And then he kind of like got a bit of hype last time, and then fight didn't happen because his opponent fucking got out of there. So
he saw the haircut and he
saw the haircut and bounced. He's like, "There's no chance I'm winning a decision with him having that haircut." So those are concerning. I mean, we kind of saw it last week. These lighter weight guys, these 125-pound guys, they come in on short notice or just making their debut. Guys are usually tough, man. There's a lot of decent talent out there at that
skill
weight
levels
class.
Way higher.
It's so much higher than the heavier weight classes. So it's a bit concerning. I don't know really much about the Buns, but he's fighting a shit ton in LFA. That's a good organization, obviously. So I would be a little
of, like really good guys over.
Really good guys.
He got choked out by 2022 Juicy like last year.
Though. I mean, Juicy can do that. Everyone. I mean, you give him if you're gonna give Juicy your back, and you're not a top.
I get it.
8 to 10 fighter. He might just
Juicy was completely washed up.
It's
though.
not the greatest look. It's not the greatest.
He was pretty bad, man. He came off like the drug suspension and shit. With like,
he lost to Benavidez
Moreno, and Alex Perez.
And then when beat up
because Juicy was fucking juicy for a little while. Like that's why he was fighting those guys. That guy was fucking up there when he was on the fucking yams.
Well, he might back. I mean, he's fighting in LFA.
Could be back in LFA.
He could be back on the yams. But yeah, I'd be a little worried about laying the juice on Zhumagulov. There's a lot of just different angles that would scare me away.
Wes, have you seen that Buns here fought a dude named Laskar Cruz?
I was just about to bring it up. Is that like a cousin of Warley? Like Warley and
no, I was going to say that's the Brazilian
Wesley. It's close enough, I guess. I like Zhumagulov here. I actually think he's a pretty good fighter. It's just kind of like what Sean said with all the stuff surrounding him over the past year or so. He retired, came back, had a fight canceled that it seemed like he was pretty up for it last time. That seemed like even his social media after that, it seemed like it brought him down a little bit. I think he was really keyed in for that fight, and it ended up getting canceled on him. I can't remember. I saw the fight, I guess, but I can't remember this Buns guy fighting in LFA. I don't remember the Juicy fight either. So I just don't know enough about him to be running out to lay juice on Zhumagulov here. But I mean, if this line keeps coming down and it gets in a minus 140 range or something like that, just out of principle, about a guy that I just think has fought the better competition as a decent fighter and stuff, I'd have to take some of that. But I think he's still sitting in, what is it, the minus 180 range or something like that. We'll see. I'm going to watch the line.
Yep.
Yeah, it looks like it's starting to drop a little bit. So this guy is taking some money, but I don't want to be laying minus 200 here. Just some other circumstances surrounding Zhumagulov, but I do think he's the better guy. Be the pick for me.
Yeah, it's it's one of those guys where you can't trust him. He's going to be competitive in just about every fight, but it's impossible to trust him as a favorite because he's in close fights. He doesn't put guys away. He doesn't really have big moments in the fight. So he has to win a lot of the fight in order to get his hand raised. And he'll be there the whole time. He'll be trying, but it's going to be tricky to see if he can actually get any separation. I mean, this Buns was, I think he was like, under plus 200 when he was facing Juicy, and he's plus 140-ish now. That all kind of makes sense to me. I think this is just going to be a pass in this case, just because I would not feel great about backing Zhumagulov as a favorite. Maybe if Buns split decision is like, I don't know, plus 1,000 or something, that could be worth a look because I think this is going 15 minutes. What was that?
I called Sean woke drinking his woke ass beer.
Damn right. That's why I pour mine into a glass so people don't
probably
know
shops
I'm
at
drinking.
Fucking Target every night.
God damn, Bud Light's so cheap now. It's like I can get a 15 pack for like $26. I'm like, hell yeah.
Like, yeah, thanks, you fucking idiots.
I'll drink the piss. It's fucking $25 for 15.
It was. I went to Target when I was in the States, and man, the beer's cheap there. It's like a 24. It was just the normal size cans, not tall boys.
Not tall boys, yeah.
But
and that's at Target
for like $16.99.
Oh, bro, well, you don't even like go into the liquor stores. It like Target's high for beer and shit. You gotta walk into a liquor store here. God damn, like you're talking like.
You think I'm walking into a liquor store in Detroit? What the fuck are you smoking?
I wouldn't even drive by a liquor store in Detroit. You might catch it straight, homie.
Anything? No, we got that. Staying with the flyweight division, Carlos Hernandez, Dennis Bondar. These are guys. Sean?
I don't care how it happens, but if you lose, it doesn't matter. Injury, fucking DQ, I don't give a shit. You lose to Malcolm Gordon, and I will never pick you or bet you ever again. No chance I'm betting on Carlos Hernandez because he's not good either. But I'll fade Bondar into Outmaster.
So that, like, I know it says it was an arm injury, but like he got his arm.
He got his arm fucked up. Yeah.
Yeah, about Malcolm Gordon.
He didn't fall on his arm. That's for goddamn sure.
Wasn't a post arm.
No.
That's for fucking sure.
Yeah. Wesley?
Yeah, I mean, that's just not a good look. And look, I don't think Hernandez is great. Losing to Nascimento isn't horrible. You got choked, but Nascimento is really, really good. Like, I think that guy's great, especially on the mat.
Do Bronx.
I mean, Hernandez has been in there with some okay dudes, man. Had some wins, a couple close decisions and shit, but still, I don't know, man. I think this is another close fight. Hernandez by decision is like plus 225. I think that's a little off. I think him as a dog here is a little off. Just think the wrong guy's favored. Probably going to be a bet for me. That dog price, the decision price is a little out of whack, I think. So it'll be another close fight. I think there's a lot of close fights on here that I'm leaning on the plus money side, and this is one of them.
Yeah, one of these guys actually fought some dudes on the way to the UFC, and one of them has, I mean, who even knows how many of these fights on his record before he got to the UFC actually happened? Because that's the way they do things in Eastern Europe these days. So yeah, I lean towards Hernandez as a dog. I don't know that I'm going to bet it. If the line creeps up, I'll probably be forced to take a little shot. But I think he's got a bit more to offer here. He's not going to rip Bondar's arm off or anything like that.
Malcolm Gordon, Canadian pound for pound.
That's right. But he can win some scrambles, get some top position here, and I'm not sure how much Bondar has as you get later into the fight. He's one of those guys that has a lot of real early stoppages, and always kind of a mystery with those dudes what happens when that early stoppage doesn't come. So I know Hernandez can go for 15 minutes, so that decision prop, not bad, Wes. Moving up 10 pounds, bantamweight division. I mean, this card doesn't have, especially the prelims, doesn't have a lot of names or anything like that. But these are all 125, 135. Yep. They're probably going to be pretty decent
action fights
for the most part.
I would take old WC cards over half of this shit nowadays. Straight up.
Yep. But anyway, we've got Christian Quiñónez taking on Kyung-ho. Kong. Not Kang. Kong. Sean.
I think if Kang can get takedowns, I think Kong. This is his fight to win. Is he going to get those takedowns? I don't know. It was a bit surprising that he wasn't really pushing the wrestling more against Dana Bakkerel, and who we've seen, get taken down in the UFC, and he wasn't really pushing that. He was fine with striking, and it's a somewhat close fight. So I think if he fucks around on the feet, he's gonna get fucked up. He's gonna get takedowns. I'll probably pick him in Toutmaster, but I don't know if I'm gonna be able to bet him.
Wes?
Yeah, this is another kind of close fight that I kind of lean the dog in. On the feet, he's Kang's probably, I don't know, it's close. He does get cracked. I don't know how much Quiñónez is got. I know he got Taha out of there, but that guy's a just total fucking bum. Like Kang's got a fucking chin on him, dude. Like straight up. He's been in some brawls in the UFC. If he gets takedowns here, I don't think this is close. Like I think he can get on top and do damage. Like we've seen Kang on top, man. Like he's got some really good top stuff, a lot of ground and pound. I hope he goes for takedowns. I don't want to see him in a firefight. He has been in some of those lately, though. Like the guy's fight IQ is not the greatest. So, I mean, the lines up there, like over plus 140 at some spots, that just seems a little wide to me, man, in a close fight. Like I said, there's a lot of them on this card. I feel that way. This is another one. So probably going to take some Kang.
Yeah, I like Kang here. I know he's older, and Quiñónez, had a nice knockout last time out. He looked all right-ish on Contender Series against a guy who had fought nobody. I think Kang has a good enough chin. He can take it on the feet. He just fought a guy who hits pretty hard last time out, and they went at it. That was a pretty high-paced fight. Both of them landed, and he just ended up getting a little better of it. So if he even thinks about mixing in some grappling, I think he's got a pretty significant edge in this fight. It just comes down to, is he actually going to do that? Because for the longest time, he was the split decision dude in the UFC. Regardless of how his fights went, win or lose, they were going to be competitive fights. I think he can get a little bit of distance in this one if he chooses to grapple. It's just getting up there in age a little bit. Not the best game plans at all times. So a little wary, but you're not betting him as a favorite here. I'll take him as a dog. We was Kangs, indeed. Moving back down 10 pounds, flyweight division, still in the prelims.
It's a fun one.
Alessandro Costa taking on the slick hick Jimmy Flick. Sean?
It's pretty wild to see a under 2.5 in a flyweight fight be like minus 220, minus 230 and shit like that. Like, this should be a fun one. I'm a bit surprised the line's as wide as it is, but I don't know. It's hard to know what you have in Jimmy Flick. Like, obviously he's got a shit ton of subs, but he fucking retired after a win, like an exciting win in the UFC. Then comes back, and I mean, he lost to a decent guy. Charles Johnson's a serviceable guy that's just kind of on that edge of USC caliber, whatever that means in today's day and age. But Flick can
at
get
flyweight,
hit.
it kind of means something.
It does, yes, because it's a lot. I mean, I don't even know how many flyweights they have on the roster, but I feel like it's a lot less than a lot of these other divisions, and guys are just better at those lower weight classes. Costa probably knocks out Jimmy Flick, but it should be a fun fight. If Flick can create scrambles, then maybe he can snatch up one of his crazy subs, but that's still crazy to me to see that over at like plus 170 on a 2.5 in a 125er fight. So maybe I'll be bored and sprinkle and try to do some contrarian shit there.
Wes?
Yeah, I don't know about that one here. I think this one gets kind of wild. Like, I don't think we know enough about Costa either. Like, he got a call up and followed out Albazi on like really short notice and got wrecked. But his other fights before the UFC are just all getting into brawls. It looks like he's got a couple ground and pound. So I think this is going to get to the mat, whether Flick wants to pull it there or Costa gets a takedown. And Flick's either going to catch something or he's going to get the shit beat out of him. Like, he's going to get ground and pounded out of there like Charles Johnson did him. It's one or the other. I mean, Flick, his subs plus 400, but him inside the distance just plus 300 or plus 350. So it's that close. If you're looking at sub, you should just go ahead and take the inside the distance, eat 50 cents just in case. But, I mean, that's a crazy price on Jimmy Flick by sub or inside the distance. It's his only way. And I think he's going to be in some positions to where he's going to have a shot. I think this is absolutely hitting the mat. It's going to hit it early. So probably a small sprinkle on Flick inside the distance for me at plus 350. But if he doesn't get that sub and get it probably first round, he's going to take a lot of damage. And Costa's probably going to ground and pound him out of there.
Yeah. I know you said that you're going inside instead of sub here. I'm going to go the other direction and go even more specific. I don't know what this is going to be at all
Costa
the legals, but Flick round one sub. Plus 900 at Bet Online.
Yeah, it's worth a little bit.
I know he's got a couple like round twos, round threes, stuff like that, but I don't think he has that in him anymore. If he doesn't get it done early, like we saw in the Charles Johnson. I was like, Charles Jourdain. That's
Did you say Jourdain? Did you call him Jordan?
he got the takedown in that fight. He just, couldn't keep him on the mats, and then ended up getting his shit rocked by the end of the first round. Might not happen that quickly in this fight against what I think is probably a little bit of a lesser dude in Costa. But I think it'll eventually happen. Flick doesn't seem to have 15 minutes in him at this point of his career. So, yeah, we'll take a little flyer on old Jimmy Flick round 1 sub at a nice price like that. I'll wait to see if some of the legals have it up in 4-digit territory, but I'm willing to do something dumb like that on this card. Final prelim, kind of crazy. We said this when he came into the UFC. It was a couple of years too late. Eventually he got there though, and now we're starting to see that age catch up with him a little bit. Raoni Barcelos taking on Miles Johns, bantamweight division. Interesting scrap, Sean.
Yeah, it should be fun. There's obviously a little bit of questions on Barcelos. Like you said, he's 36 now. At the lower weight classes, its age is fairly unforgiving. I mean, you can't really take much. He got wrecked by Umar. That's not a bad thing. He does throw a lot of volume. Usually he has to mix in his takedowns. I think we're gonna see if Miles Johns' takedown defense is good or not in this one. If Johns can keep it on the feet for the most part, seems like he has fairly big power, and Raoni's kind of been getting hit lately, and the chin I don't think is what it used to be. So that's a pretty big number on an older guy. He's throws a lot of volume, and he's a good fighter, but it's a bit scary in this point in his career.
Yeah, I have a lot of the same feelings, man. It's not a horrible loss to Umar, of course, but my God, the way he lost is pretty horrible. Like he got melted. Like that's not good. That was just like 5 months ago. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, just a couple years ago, imagine what Barcelos would be lined against Miles fucking Johns. Like. I know it's still a pretty big number at this point, but they would probably be double that a couple years ago. Yeah, I think Barcelos is going to land the volume here, and I think Miles Johns has got just some power that's going to be scary against Barcelos at this point. I'm not sure Barcelos is going to go for a ton of takedowns. Like that just doesn't do that a ton at this point. Johns' takedown defense is okay. I know Castaneda or whatever got him down and ended up getting him in a choke. So, I mean, if Barcelos does get it there, it seems like Barcelos works on the feet. And even when he does kind of get a takedown, it's more just control and land some small shots and stuff. So, I don't know, man. I'm leaning Miles Johns here. It's another dog that I kind of like. I see a path for him in this spot with the power. If he can't hurt Barcelos, though, I think Barcelos could definitely win a decision here on volume alone, on stealing some rounds. But I don't know. I got a feeling that chin might be getting to that point to where it's bad, and Miles Johns hits kind of hard. So I'm going to pick Miles Johns for sure. I don't know about a bet. His TKO is plus 650 at one spot now. Him inside the distance is plus 475. I mean, if you think he's got to like get Barcelos out of there to win the fight, or if Barcelos can win on like volume alone, maybe that's the way to go. But yeah, going to be a pick. No bet as of right now.
I'm debating if I want to take a little shot on the under here, because Miles Johns been finished in both his losses. He got submitted by Castaneda, but he also got dropped in that fight. Mario Batista lit him up with that flying knee. I could see Barcelos landing something big on him for sure. And really, I only see Miles John's path to winning being landing something big. He's got a pretty damn good uppercut that he's landed against a bunch of guys. He throws hard with everything that he throws, carries his power into the later rounds. So under 2.5 at plus 120 in this spot. I think that Barcelos could win with a knockout, or if he does decide to grapple, he could sub him. And Johns has a somewhat decent shot at a knockout by landing something big on the old dude in this spot. So considering pulling the trigger on that under 2.5, haven't done it yet, but it's on my radar for sure.
John's inside plus 475 is.
It's high. It's high.
Yeah. I would
Brad likes to push 4 digits.
Yeah,
the 3 digits don't get him too excited, especially the mid digits.
Doesn't perk the nips anymore.
What's the TKO 650? It's getting closer to
in
my
one
language.
spot. I think
Mostly
you're
it's
gonna see
550.
You're probably gonna see better lines on most of the props when they get posted on all the legals.
Still early. Line's probably not going to be out for most of this stuff until tomorrow. This being Wednesday, of course. Tomorrow or Friday. So we'll see what we get once the full slate is out there. But that's one I'll have a little highlighter beside to put a bet on. Moving up to the main cards. How much time do we have? We're at an hour. Not bad. Okay, we'll fire through these in the next half hour or so. 170 pounds. Nicholas Dalby. Blinded him with science. Taking on Muslim Salikhov, the Russian who was so embarrassed that he couldn't wrestle that now he tries to wrestle and it's boring. Huh?
I kind of have a tough time seeing Dalby winning a 3-round striking fight, which that's probably what this is going to be. I know you said he's started to grapple a bit, but I don't think he'll be able to really implement that against Dalby. And his takedown defense seems to have gotten a lot better since he entered the UFC. So I don't know if Dalby's going to get him down for long. So I think this is mostly going to be a striking fight. These guys are both old, so I think there's a little more variance when it comes to that. But there's not many guys that are kind of at this level that are going to outstrike Salikhov on the feet. Like, you need big power. Dalby hasn't finished a guy in the UFC. He has, 8 fights in the UFC, 0 finishes. Muslim can be hit. That chin is not perfect anymore, but I don't know if Dalby's the guy to get him. So I think I'm actually going to parlay Salikhov.
Wesley?
I think Dalby is like pretty underrated for what he is. Like I really do. And man, they're laying 2-1 here against him again, against a 39-year-old Russian that's, I don't know, man. He just ain't.
Dalby's 38.
Yeah, but he's a whole lot fresher. Look at 38. He's on some gear. Dalby
he's 38 and his liver is 84.
Dalby's juiced to the fucking gills, man. Like, that dude is fucking jacked up. Like, I agree with a lot of what Sean said. If this is a pure at distance kickboxing match, Dalby's probably not going to win that, but I think Dalby can definitely get a hold of this and make this ugly. And in those kind of fights, that dude thrives, man. He's fairly underrated when he can get on a guy and make him work like that, man. Dude's got an insane gas tank, got an insane chin. I don't see Salikhov knocking him out like he could. But Dalby's just durable as shit, man. Salikhov has looked old in some spots in his last few fights. So I don't know. It's just a really big number to me. I just think it's a little wide. Another close fight where I lean the dog. I just think it's too good of a price. This one's one that I'm going to have to play. Dalby at 2-1 against an aging guy that I don't think is great. Never really was great. And it's getting old. I like Dalby.
I do agree that Salikhov is getting old and was never great and isn't great. but I feel like I've watched enough of Dalby at this point that his two best attributes are getting terrible decisions, like the one against Daniel Rodriguez, or fighting guys with absolutely horrible cardio, like his last two fights against Warley and Claudio Silva, Hannibal. And even in that fight, he was getting out wrestled late into the fight by Claudio Silva. That is no bueno. So I wouldn't be shocked if Salikhov could get a takedown or two in this fight. I don't think that he's going to do anything with it. But honestly, Dalby does not have good takedown defense. He kind of invites the clinch and those dirtier fights, like Wes said. And Salikhov's got some like tricky little trips because he bases it off his kung fu style or whatever he claims, the king of the kung fu or whatever he talks about. But at distance, this is a mismatch on the feet. I think Salikhov is going to be landing the much better stuff. And if he can just mix in a takedown or two, I think he's going to be all right. So I'm more on Sean's side here. I'm personally not throwing it in a parlay or anything yet, but if I do go in any direction on this fight, it's going to be Salikhov. Lightweight division, Manuel Torres, Miguel's little brother, taking on Nicholas Motta, one of Jimmy Miller's many victims in his resurgence. That was a nice one when we got Jimmy Miller as a dog against Motta. That was fun. Sean, what do you got here?
Not too much. I don't know how good Nicholas Motta is because, yeah, he did get absolutely smoked by Jim Miller. And then he got a knockout in round one against one of the worst fighters that may have ever fought in the UFC, in the modern UFC anyway, in Cameron Van Camp. So I have no idea if he's good or not. I don't really know if Manuel Torres is good either. These guys have got some wins against some pretty shoddy competition. You get cleaned out like that. I know this is sacrilegious to shit on getting crushed by Jim Miller, but that's not a great look. I'll pick Manuel Torres, but I don't want anything to do with this fight.
Wes, who do you think is superior, Manuel Torres or Automatic Torres?
Well, it depends on how buzzed you are. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to be trying changing gears when you're, 20, 30 grams deep. That's for sure.
I forgot about the freedom down in the States.
Y'all got some freedom up there. I've seen y'all's fucking rednecks. The fuck out of here.
It's true.
Fair. It's fair.
Yeah, man, this is I don't if you know what's gonna happen in this fight, who's winning this shit, like you're just better than I am. These dudes they're both just they're gonna swing, man. I don't know how good either of these dudes are. I don't know. I'm gonna pick the dog. I'm gonna pick Motta. Probably inside the distance. I think it's just as a fun, wild fight, but I can't bet it. I'm gonna bet a lot of shitty dogs on this card, but this is one I just have no fucking idea.
Yeah, this is one of those ones that I look at and just like, why exactly is this on the main card? I think I lean towards Torres just because I think he's got the better chin, and both of these guys have a very high chance of landing in this fight. I think under 2.5 is like minus 300. We're thinking there's going to be a stoppage here. He seems like he can take a little bit of a better shot than Motta, so I'll lean Torres. But this one's a crapshoot. This is not something I want to have my money anywhere near. Featherweight division. So I'm starting to get confused with all of, like, the Almeidas, and like I used to be able to keep track of all the Brazilians. Now they all just sort of blend together. But we got Lucas Almeida taking on Pat Sabatini. You know, if Lance was here, he'd be dropping bombs on Pat Sabatini. That's his favorite dumb IQ fighter with no chin. That's right up his alley.
The one who tapped the strikes to Damon Jackson. That's the one you're talking about.
That's right.
That's who Lance would be laying the hammer
on. You know he would.
Well, tune in Friday because I'm sure he'll be tweeting out some money on Pat Sabatini. I think this is gonna be a fun fight. Seems like Lucas Almeida just forces fun one way or another. That was a wild ass fight on short notice against Trezano that he gritted through. He had to go through some shit and he got through it. The under 2.5 is like minus 130. I wish it was plus money just because I mean Pat Sabatini with his wrestling hasn't shown too much of a finishing capability in the UFC. But maybe Lucas Almeida just forces it by Almeida either knocking him out or something like that, or just forcing himself to gas and Sabatini taking over. That is concerning because if Pat Sabatini is winning, it's probably going to be a bit of a boring fight, but I think Almeida might force it. I'll pick Sabatini, but no bet as of right now.
Wesley.
Yeah, I don't think a whole lot of Pat Sabatini. Sean mentioned something about Almeida taking it from Trezano. Yeah, and stayed in that fight, got a hell of a win. I just don't think Sabatini's that guy. If he gets in tough here, I think Almeida's going to make it tough. I'm not sure Sabatini can take him down and just hold him there. And man, if Almeida, can land some shit, get on top, start landing some shit. I mean, we've seen Sabatini find a way out already. So, man, there's like some plus 150s out there and stuff on Almeida. I don't think that's too bad. Actually, it might be a bet for me.
He hasn't won a fight by decision, so you might need to sprinkle some inside while we're
plus 225 or so, something like that. I've looked at it. Probably be something on that as well.
I think that's more the direction I'd be looking at if I was looking at a bet on Almeida here, but I think he needs to get it done early. If he doesn't, I think that Sabatini's going to start to get the grappling going. And we saw Almeida faded a little bit against old Danny Zellhuber on Contender Series. I don't know if that was just like what happens to guys on Contender Series sometimes, and they go out and go a little too hard and fade later in the fight. Because he did have that comeback against Trezano. But man, he's got a pretty significant grappling advantage in this one. So if he doesn't do a Damon Jackson and put Sabatini's lights out early, or even like a Jamal Emmers without the bonehead, I'm going to rock you and then start grappling with you, I think that he's going to be in a little bit of trouble here. So I'm tempted on Sabatini. It's hard to trust this dude because he's been rocked in a few fights now. I just think that grappling advantage is pretty massive in this spot. And Almeida hasn't fought somebody who wanted to grapple with him at all yet. He's fought Zellhuber and he's fought Trezano, and those are just like lanky dudes that probably snap their spines in half if they tried to shoot a takedown. So can't take a whole lot away from that. That chin though.
Yeah. Small Fave's been rolling this year.
Yeah, that's true. Anyway, yeah, it's kind of a weird one for me. Moving up, middleweight division, Christian Leroy Jenkins taking on Armen Petrosyan. Not related to the actual good Petrosyans. Always important to remember that. Sean?
Yeah, you always got to say that. He's still okay for a low level fighter in the UFC. If he doesn't have to worry about a takedown, he can let his striking go. And I don't think this guy's going to be going for takedown, so it should be a fairly fun striking fight. Petrosyan's decent as a dog. I know price is kind of coming down on him. I should have locked some better pricing in earlier in the week, but that's the way it goes. I think if Petrosyan anywhere around plus 125, plus 130, that's a good bet.
Wesley?
Yeah. Christian Leroy Duncan is a tall guy who likes to kick people on the calves and shit. Watching old Dusky Toes Daddy take those kicks was just...
That dude did nothing though for the most part. I had the under 1.5 in that fight, and I was like, I am fucked. And then of course, knee injury will take that all day because this year has been terrible for me.
Yeah, Petrosyan is a decent kickboxer. If that's all he's got to worry about, he's a way better kickboxer than this dude. He just got to worry about just the distance a little bit. He's going to have reach and shit on him, but Petrosyan got in decent on Barhalio, and that was when he was even having to worry about the takedown from him constantly. So I don't think he's going to have problems here like this. Petrosyan at a dog price, I think, is a really nice spot on this card.
Yeah, Petrosyan. I think this fight is lined this way because he's a terrible wrestler, and he doesn't even try and defend takedowns. If you shoot a takedown on him, you got it. It's good for you. You're not going to do anything to him. You're probably going to take his back and sit there for the rest of the round, like everyone that fights him does. But I just don't think that's going to happen in this fight. You've got a British lanky striker who his whole thing is that he's creative on the feet and all that. This is going to be a striking match. And I mean, do I favor Petrosyan by a huge amount in that? No, probably not. But
you're getting a plus money.
I think it's at least even, and you're getting him right now like plus 125 out there. I just think that's a little bit off. This is one of those ones where maybe somebody having a 0 on their record gives them a little bit of extra money on the line than they should necessarily have. But Duncan's fun. He's going to go after it. He's, I know Wes said that you've got to worry about the distance there, but he goes for the type of stuff that's going to close that distance and give Petrosyan some shots. Gives him some opportunities to land some big stuff. So I will also back the Armenian, Armen Petrosyan, in this one. And folks, that is going to be the consensus bet of the week. We're saying Leroy's must go. Armen Petrosyan plus 125? Is that what
plus 135 at Bet
plus
Online
135
and Pinnacle.
Damn. I needed to pull up the old fight odds there, but that is tremendous. Plus 135. Armen Petrosyan gonna get the damn thing done. Apparently, if you have Cloud Bet, you can get plus 137.
It actually went up in the past hour at Bet Online.
It bounced back after getting hammered down.
Yep.
Just nice for us.
So there we go. Consensus. It has been written, so it shall be done. And we're gonna stick with the Armenians in the co-main events. We've got Joaquim Silva. Is he the one? Neto BJJ? Is that him? Mm-hmm. That's his nickname.
That is him.
Just weird. But he's taking on Armen Tsarukyan. Sean?
This is a dumb fight. This is a dumb matchup. It's a waste of everybody's time. Tsarukyan deserves a lot better. I don't know if dudes just won't fight him. It's really fucking lame. Yes. Joaquim Silva, these are the guys that have taken him down in his UFC career. Jared Gordon 3 times. Vink Pickle. Reza Madadi. Nazareno Malagari. Yes, those are people. And now he's also getting chin checked. He got fucking smoked by the Nas Rat and got crushed by Ricky Glenn. So Tsarukyan is going to take this guy down and smash him. The worry for me is if Tsarukyan wants to prove a point. Doesn't really seem to be his style. So hopefully he doesn't really try too hard for that sub on when he's on top. I think he's just going to ground and pound this dude into dust. Him by TKO is like minus 125, minus 130. It's always rough to lay that juice, but Tsarukyan is very good. And there is many a paths here.
Wesley?
Yeah, dumb fight. They're scared to death of Tsarukyan. Takedown, murder. I like the TKO, and I don't hate inside the distance as a parlay piece if you can parlay that.
Yeah, it's Tsarukyan. I'm trying to find a way to bet it. I'm not sure that I feel as strongly about the TKO as you guys, but man, ever since Sean ran through that list of dudes that have taken down Joaquim Silva, all I've been thinking of is that MMA just comes full circle, because we got the egg dude from the last card that looks like the purse snatcher, but then we've got the original purse snatcher, Reza Madadi.
Reza.
That's
a legend. Go look up Reza Madadi if you're curious.
He's a coach now. He's actually had some. Yeah, he's had some fighters in the UFC and shit.
Is he out?
He said in prison. His dude, he's training the next Adam BC.
Hey, if you need somebody to beat the jail man, you got to find yourself a jail man.
A real jail man, right?
Yeah, that's fun stuff. But yeah, Tsarukyan's gonna roll here. The only reason this is here is because nobody will fight him, and they want to keep him busy and give him a spot where he can look good. So initially, my dumbass was thinking maybe over 1.5, but with the way that Silva's been getting cracked lately, I'm not sure that I can even do that in this spot. So Tsarukyan, we'll see if I can find a way to do something with it. Main event time, middleweight division. And this might be the middleweightiest main event of all time. Could just be a whole lot of nothing between maybe Vettori and Cannonier gonna trade some conspiracy theories in the middle of the octagon. Some tips for doing dumb gym bro shit. I could see all that happening. But Sean,
Cannonier is gonna gift him some crystals. Vettori probably fucking crushes them up and snorts them.
That's how you unlock their true power. Sean, are we going to get an exciting fight here?
No.
Damn it.
I think that is the best bet of the night. If that was a bet. Yeah, I'm gonna be on Go's decision in a parlay. As we've seen, Vettori is extremely hard to finish. Pretty much doesn't happen. He's taken punches from some of the best strikers and hardest hitters at middleweight, and he's still in there. Vettori also doesn't seem like he's not the greatest takedown guy. I know Cannonier's been taken down a couple times, in some fights where he did fight a grappler. Maybe Vettori gets a takedown, but I don't think he's going to be able to keep it on the ground very long or get much done. He just doesn't do much. He's a guy that's good at most things and just does not have power or finishing capabilities. So I think this goes long. Cannonier, I do think he lost to Strickland, but it was a close striking. It was strictly a striking fight, and he was able to compete with Sean Strickland, and that's a decent striker. Meanwhile, we got Vettori being in tough against Roman Dolidze. So I think I'm gonna pick Cannonier. I don't think I'm gonna bet a side. I'm just gonna bet the over, and I don't have to give a shit about shitty judging.
Smart man, Wes.
Yeah, I do agree with the over here. I think this could be a really bad fight. Like, nobody finishes fucking Vettori. Like, dude's just absolute meathead. Fucking probably got double thick fucking skull or some shit. Like, he's an idiot. Can't finish the guy. So I do like that over. I think it's going to be 25 minutes of just. They're going to probably throw a lot of, but Vettori throws and shit. It just, I don't know. He doesn't have finishing power. He can't be finished. Can he get fucking Cannon down? Maybe, but you're not holding that guy down. Like, nobody holds him down and shit. So I think this is going to be a pretty boring fucking kickboxing match, mostly boxing. I think it could look a lot like the Sean Strickland fight. I think Vettori's probably going to have a little more volume, but I think Cannonier can land the bigger punches here and there and just look a little bit better as far as that damage or bigger shots go. So I kind of lean Cannon here. I think if you bet either of these guys, you look at them by decision. Cannonier by decision is plus 300 in some spots right now. I like that number. So probably going to be a bet for me there, and I will be finding something to put the over 4.5 with as well. Fight goes decision. This fight's going 25 minutes. So look at decision if you like a side, and I like the over.
Yeah, over's hitting here. Since Cannonier moved down to middleweight, the only people that have taken him down multiple times are David Branch, the original double champ over in World Series Fighting. And then he killed Branch in the second round. And Derek Brunson. And he killed Derek Brunson in the second round. So obviously, I don't think he's going to kill Vettori in the second round in this fight, because Vettori is durable, but as much as Vettori is durable, he's also that bad at finishing his opponents. So I think the over is way better than either side in this one. It's going to be competitive. It's going to be one of those fights where Vettori's landing more, Cannonier's landing the bigger stuff. And as Sean said, if you don't want to worry about the judges, just go with the over, because otherwise you're going to be hoping that they see what you see, and whatever you see is going to be what you bet on, because that's how we all watch fights. So save yourself some stress. Go over here, parlay it with whatever fight you like on the rest of the card, because price isn't that bad. Over 4.5. Right around just a little bit under 200. If you want to go a little bit better, you can go decision. That's down to like as low as minus 150 at some spots. So not terrible options for the main event to close something out for your night. But speaking of closing out nights, it's gonna do it for this week's edition of the MMA Analysis. LR, we'll have to wait for confirmation on the alien talk before we get too deep into that. But I guarantee you that those motherfuckers have tall guy defense. Did you see how lanky they were?
I would kick them right in the fucking whatever things connecting their joints. It'd be done. You see it? You see the fucking. Come on, man.
And come on. I think I might have hit the eject button a little too early this week, Bellator, great card.
Great fight.
We didn't break it down, but
Man.
better than the UFC card, honestly.
And Pitbull going for a third title. Like,
Yep.
be some legendary shit. I don't care what organization you do something like that in. Like, that's legit.
And it's not like he's just doing it against some dudes.
He's fighting a guy that was in the UFC that has beaten a decent
knocked out
Mike
fucking
Chandler up a weight class, and Bellator's always had a pretty damn good featherweight division. So that's a legit accomplishment. You got YOLO at
50,
47, but 62 on the actual birth certificate.
He couldn't even show up to the press conference.
Do you see Composer got his shit tweeted up by ESPN? That shit was awesome. Dude.
Live streaming at the
he just a picture of YOLO at the fucking press conference. Everybody's there, and he's in his hotel bed. Fucking doing the press. They had to stare down, and it was fucking Nemkov standing there with the belt, and you had a TV.
Classic.
I mean, mind games, it's all about the mind games.
I mean,
don't forget about Jesus.
If you like a 60-year-old fucking Cuban, I mean, you got a good price on YOLO this week.
Anderson and Phil Davis, that's all right.
Yep.
Yeah. It's a good card.
Decent little card. We got PFL. Is that happening every week? Is that this week? Is there a PFL?
Yeah, they got it's the same night, I believe. I think they're both Friday night this week.
Oh, that's dumb. I like when PFL does the Thursday night thing.
And then Bellator Friday and UFC Saturday. If they were smart. What they're doing.
Yeah, because even the last PFL card, it was on TSN up here. It gets on like one of the ESPNs down there, doesn't it?
It's all on ESPN Plus.
ESPN Plus. Sometimes they put it on like ESPN2 or something like that as well.
Gotcha. Mm-hmm. But yeah, lots of decent fights if you want to dabble in the fisticuffs this weekend. I'm sure we will be. You'll see what our final bets are later in the week, and we will see you next week with the MakNCheese, folks.